Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More. We're at the Laundromat, and yes, I was on vacation last week. That is why we did not have any Laundromat videos on Friday and Saturday, as we almost always do. I apologize for that, but I also don't try and advertise when I'm on vacation and let people know when I'm gone for a number of different reasons. But I'm back. We're going to check out the Laundromat, see if it survived without me, see what the quarter situation looks like, and see if we can track accurate sales data, because that's always a little tricky when I'm gone and when it's not a weekly thing and all that. So the change machine first, there's a whole ton of cash in here because I don't think it got emptied on Friday like I normally do. And I actually had to have someone come in here yesterday on Monday, today's Tuesday if you're watching this on a different day, and empty this left side because it got so full it stopped working. So a lot of cash in there, but part of that's because we weren't emptying it as often as we normally do. Now I did have someone come in and fill the quarters, so that didn't run out. There's some money from yesterday we had to take out of the one side. So we didn't have any issues with quarters running out, so that was good. But we had some issues with how quarters were put back in here and my sales tracking. So not the end of the world, but we'll try and figure that out in our sales charts here. Now I also had people emptying coin boxes for me too, because I know they would get too full if that wasn't done. However, we still had a little bit of issues, as you can see. This one got way too full. Not sure if it got emptied on Friday or not. It was supposed to have been. But yeah, there's definitely quarters overflowing into the coin box, and I could feel and hear some of them falling into the middle of the machine as well. So again, our coin count might not be completely accurate because of that, but also because of another bigger issue we had, which I'll talk about here in just a second. So I had come in here the Sunday before we left. We left on a Monday, got back on a Monday, and emptied some of the full coin boxes, filled up the change machine, made sure everything was good, put the quarters from the big machines in a bucket like I normally do. And then also we're supposed to get a part for this one already, and I made sure to ship it to my house, and then instead they're trying to ship it to the laundromat. There's no one here, so I need to get that part so we can get this machine fixed. We'll just not worry about that coin box not opening for right now. But anyway, so I need to get that. But, like I said before, I had all my quarters in a bucket like I had right there. Well, I had someone come in and empty quarters last week too, so they don't get too full, put them in a bucket. Well, yesterday when they were filling up quarters, they ran out of quarters from my big bucket I normally have. And so they used the quarters from the small buckets that I used to track my sales. So I had a bunch of extra quarters there for them to use. I just didn't know they ran out. And I know sometimes people are afraid to text me or call me on vacation, but I'd much rather they do that than not call me, especially when it comes to laundromat sales data tracking. It's very important stuff. So we won't have a completely accurate count on the washer sales, at least the big washer sales. We can still try and extrapolate some data and see if we can figure it out. Now, these are the smaller machines here, and I don't think any of these boxes were empty. So these would be basically from a Friday to a Tuesday for these. So these will have quite a bit of quarters in them. And then if we can figure out kind of what we have from the small washers, and then maybe what we have from the dryers as well, maybe we can figure out a range of what we would have had from the big washers, if that makes sense. So it is fun to do this once in a while, because it's always fun to collect, really full coin boxes, although like I said, it's not great for the machines, and sometimes they can even stop working if they get too full, so that's not good. But it is fun still, opening up heavy and full coin boxes. Of course, we had a few machines break down. The one on the far right there keeps giving me issues. And it's like a door sensor, but we reset it, it works fine. It works fine for like a week, then maybe even 2 weeks sometimes, and then it does it again. We reset it, works fine, so that's kind of annoying. And then we had two of my other silver ones we'll show you here have issues. One is probably a drain, one is a door sensor. Two, the door sensors are usually pretty easy things to fix. Honestly, it's just resetting the breaker. And sometimes you have to replace the sensor, but usually not. The drain is also fairly easy to fix. It's just kind of a pain if you gotta take off the front. And then, oh, my bucket is getting way too full. And then take off the pipes on the bottom. Check the drain. There's usually a screwdriver or something crazy in there that's causing it not to work right. So we have filled up that one bucket all the way. You can see we had, you know, way more quarters in those machines, the small machines and the big machines, which rarely happens. If it does happen, it's just by a little tiny bit, not a massive amount like we have now. And normally we come close to filling our one bucket with quarters from the big machines, and we haven't quite done that. So definitely some different data. So here's the one that has the drain issue. We can get that fixed pretty easily. Pretty full bucket still though, so that must have happened pretty recent. And then that one's working fine. In fact, that's really full. That one came close to overflowing too. And then we had this one here that I think is a door sensor, which probably just needs reset. And that's pretty full as well. And talking to customers and people who are coming over, they said the laundromat was crazy busy. So that's good to see. So while I was gone, no major disasters. A few just things that in a perfect world would have been done a little better, but again, the world is not perfect. So we can see what those are, count those in just a second. And of course we want to check the vending machine too. And I mentioned in my last video the vending machine's a little bit annoying, but today I had someone else fill it for me, so that made it much easier, and then I could get my stuff done quicker. But I really need to go get more stuff ordered. Like I said, it's gone, just got back. I need more chips, more candy, stuff in there. But there's a lot of money in there. That's definitely, I think, the most I've ever had. But again, it's, you know, 10 Friday to Tuesday, so however many days that is, so a lot more days than normal, but still quite a bit in there. And then we'll check the soap machine too, of course. I had also had help on that, filling it up, and quite a bit in here, but nothing like crazy. But there's nothing ran out, so that's good too. And then we'll check the pop machine too, see how it looks. When I did walk by it, I noticed it said we're out of Mountain Dew and out of Coke, and we are. And I had just refilled that before I left, so there's a lot gone. And so far, since I got this, it hasn't really been producing that much. That's by far the most we've ever had. And then we have our bill acceptor too, and there's usually not a ton in here either, but there's something in there. Remember how to open it. It's been a while, I guess. Yeah, so we'll see what's in there as well. So here's my vending machine money, and so many dollar coins in here too. Now these will jam up my change machine, so I want to try and get those out and find all of those and see if we can count this without causing too many delays. Nope, there's still more. So there's quite a bit of money in here, with those dollar coins especially. Alright. It was $12 from dollar coins? Yeah, look at that. Confirmed. They go in my special box, and we'll see how much we've got here. Yeah, I think that's by far the most we've ever had, plus the dollar coins, plus some random dimes and nickels as well. Then we'll check the soap machine here, its money. It's all quarters, so don't have to worry about getting the dimes and nickels. That's all right. And then the pop, which had, I think that was $12 too, which is the most bills we've had in there before. Yes, confirmed. The coins, which is definitely the most coins we've had in there. Again, you know, it's easy to break records when you change the days from 7 to like 10, but it's harder when you dump quarters all over. Yes, by far the most we've had in the pop machine. So we'll put that on our chart. We'll see how it lines up against other weeks and add a little bit in there extra for those. And of course, we want to count the washing machines and of course the dryers too. Again, we're going to be a little bit off on the washers just because we don't have all of the big machines because they got stuck back in the change machine instead of, you know, kept in the bucket. So this is what we collected today from the big washers. And like I said, there would have been last Sunday, actually 2 Sundays ago, quarters I collected from the big machines, and then most likely some more quarters that my team collected while I was gone too. So not sure how many that would have added up to, but like I said, we can kind of figure out how many quarters we had in the small washers and how many quarters we had in the dryers, and kind of move all that together in some way to figure out what we ended up getting total. Now there's definitely not going to be as much here as we normally get, and could tell by the size of the bucket, but then I definitely have a lot more small washer money too. So we'll see what this all ends up being. And while you're watching that, I'm going to do some quick math because I forgot to do some of that to figure out the difference on these. Or I could use a calculator too, which would make my life much easier. Okay, so not as see, I threw the quarter in the bucket, forgot to count it, threw it back in, so it gets counted. I did notice when I filled my coin little machine up too much, it starts to slow down a little bit. So trying to I threw a quarter all over the ground just there if you saw that. So we'll grab a couple. I think I threw 2. So 2186 from the big washers. Normally we're around 3,000, sometimes more, sometimes less. And then this is all of the small washer money. And it's a little tricky when you got your bucket so full. So that's another reason not to fill my bucket quite so full next time, I guess. So we'll see how much is in here, although it's just doing math on it to figure it out, and how much we had in my, let's see here, let me write these numbers down and then go to my charts and see if we came close to estimating this correctly. So that, divide that by 4, no, that is not correct. Oh wait, yes, okay. Yeah, all right, nope, that makes perfect sense actually now. I'll explain this all in just a second. So, sped this up so you don't have to watch all that. But you can see we had way, way more quarters from the small washers, and in the end, we ended up with, obviously, a brand new record. We smashed all records, which we'll show you in our chart, which again is easy to do when you change how many days you collect it by. Over 7,000 quarters. And again, let's do our math here. That was 1,753 quarters we collected. Sorry, dollars we collected. And oh, there are dollar coins in my dryer too. So that's a record by itself, even though we didn't count all of it. Now, these dryers, when I got them, had dollar slots, and I covered them up so that they wouldn't be used because it kind of messes up my coin counting and different things. Someone took off my tape on the dollar slot, and that's how they used that. Now I need to check some things, so I'm not sure if my dollar price is correct. I know my quarter price is correct, but you have to go in there and program your dollar price. I had to reprogram all my quarter prices on these machines when I got them. So it could be someone figured out a way to get a little more time than they're supposed to by putting dollars in there, and that's why they did that. Not sure if that's why, or they figured that out, or just wanted to use their dollars. But yeah, I did have tape on there for a reason. And then yeah, on my pop machine, we have kids who keep taking my stickers off on the different selections, which is kind of annoying, but it's kind of hard to, I don't know. They're like 5 years old, and I've never seen them when I go in there, so it's a little tricky. But there's a lot of quarters in the dryers too, of course, because I didn't collect for like 10 days. So this is what 10 days worth of dryer money looks like. And we'll see. Well, I think we're going to fill our bucket up here too, which we never come close to on dryers in other days. And then, yeah, we're going to have to either get another bucket, or I'll just grab this coin box and take it with me, actually, to save a little bit of time. And we'll dump this one in there.
Okay.
But yeah, lots of dryer money again, because we waited to collect money. Alright, so I put the coin box in here, put it back in the machine, and looking for more dollars to make sure I don't miss any of those. I just saw one, and then we'll count our dryer money too. And this can kind of give us an idea of how much washer money there should be as well. More quarters falling out. You know, if there's a huge amount of dryer money, you can, or just a little bit, whatever, we can take the ratios of dryer to washer money from before on different weeks, kind of average those out and figure out what our ratio should be here and get an idea. And then that, along with, you know, figuring out how much was in the small machines versus what should be in the large machines, we can get a pretty decent idea of, I think, of what our total should have been. Now, of course, it's going to be completely wrong because of the extra days, and like I said, we smashed all records. But what I'll do then is on this Friday, I'll come back again, collect quarters and money again, and then we'll kind of average it all out. So while this week will look absolutely crazy and insane with our graph, on Friday it'll even out. I'll even out the numbers, and it won't look nearly as insane. So this is a special week. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it makes up for those of you who are used to the Friday and Saturday videos. Sorry. And if it happens in the future, just know it's most likely because I'm on vacation, and that's why we're not doing Laundromat videos. It's not because I forgot or I quit doing them, anything like that. So in the past, I always thought, you know, getting 2,000 quarters was a pretty good week. 2,200, even better. And we're already there with lots of other money coming. Now, the change machine was acting a little funky and slow, so I'll speed this up again. I had some issues with it before, a couple weeks ago, you remember, and it was acting kind of slow and weird, and we thought maybe it's because it got wet, because I had some water in a bucket. Definitely not wet this time, and I know I was filling it a little too full in the beginning, but then even when it got lower, it was just going real slow too. So this is sped up like 3 times speed, and I feel like it's going about normal almost. So hopefully I didn't break it or mess it up. I did take it apart a little bit, and one of the belts seemed like maybe it was snagged on something a little loose. Maybe that was it. Yeah. So anyway, over 3,000. Again, smashing all records. And 36. So slow. This is sped up. And then it wasn't taking all the quarters again at the end, so that was kind of weird. But we got 36, 91, plus another 7 quarters, plus we had a couple dollar coins in there as well. But definitely get that on the chart. And then my bucket is super full. Stick this over here for the change machine, and then of course we want to make sure it is all full again. And it's hard to tell. I don't know if person who's helping me got this all the way full like I like to do it. I mean, I like to fill it to the brim and then some, or if they just filled it a little bit full. But there's a lot of quarters gone just from yesterday, so good to see quarters being used. And like I said, some of my regulars were saying they came in on a Monday, which is usually not like a super busy day, and all the dryers were being used, and almost all the washers were being used, which almost never happens. So that's good and bad in a way. Good in that everything's being used, but bad in that they said they actually had to come back later because there was nothing available. So I don't want to chase people away, but again, not much I can do to increase the size of my space. We can fix a few washers and a dryer, but not much else we can do. All right, here's our sales chart, which starts from December 2023 when I opened for business, and then goes all the way through until right now, which is March 25th, 2025. Crazy it's been that long. And been a lot of fun, a lot of ups and downs. But overall, really, this has been a pretty steady business. Steady money coming in, nothing too crazy. Haven't really had to close down for anything, long term. Kept kind of breaking through our plateaus and reaching new plateaus, and it's been pretty interesting and fun. We did have that one real bad week along Christmas, but besides that, things have been pretty good. And there's our record. We smashed everything. So I'll talk about that in just here, not just a second right now. Our dryers had 926.50, which is almost double what we normally have in 10 days. However, our weekends are way busier than during the week. A lot of times we'll have more money in 2 days on the weekend than 5 days during the week. So it's not surprising that we had almost double, but still good amount from the dryers. We had $1,700 from the washers, but like I said, that could have missed a whole lot of money from the big washers and taking those away. So if I considered how much we had from the small washers, which was, I wrote it down, about $2,400. $1,200. Sorry, we had $1,200 from the small washers. We usually have about the same from the small washers as the big washers. Actually, usually a little more from the big washers, but once in a while we have more in the small washers. So we had about $1,200 from the small washers. If we add that up to about $1,200 for the big washers, we'd have $2,400 total from the washers. And that actually is about 2.5 times what we had in the dryers, which is about our average ratio the last few weeks as well. So extrapolating the data, I figured saying $2,400 for the washers is a pretty good number. Might even be a little bit on the conservative side, but still taking into account the washers, the dryers, our snacks did really, really well for that time period. Pop machine did like more than twice as good as any week, well more. It was really busy. Soap machine, fine, nothing too special. So $35.19 total. Again, smashing all records by a massive amount with those extra days. And then Friday I'll come in there, count quarters again, count cash again, and kind of try and average this all out. And then we'll see what we really ended up with over 2 weeks. And again, our numbers on Friday will be very low because it's only like part of today, Wednesday, Thursday, part of Friday, and our busiest times of the weekend. So we'll still put those numbers in, see what we've got. But even, very minuscule, small numbers will still give us a couple of pretty good weeks, I think, based on what we had the last 9-10 days or whatever it was. And honestly, we could have had a little more than that. It's just hard to say with not getting an accurate count on the washer money. All right. That's what happened in the laundromat this week. I have not gone to the small laundromat yet. That is in my schedule either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. I will go out there. We'll have a video for you on that one tomorrow. See how it did as well. I also had someone out there checking on it, filling its change machine, making sure it's okay. And we'll see if the car wash, it got all fixed before I left. Had a wand break, some other issues. But it was doing really well before that happened, so we'll count those quarters as well. See how it did, and kind of do the same thing with the charts and collecting money on Friday too. All right, thanks for watching. Of course, we'll have an update on the liquor store here soon. 2 flips, commercial properties, a lot going on right now.